This visible border of soft gel tip is so annoying. Yoselyn posted in my YouTube community a question about the problem she has been facing with soft gel tips during application. I would like to get a nice and seamless cuticle look, but I feel like no matter how I apply them, you can see the border of the full cover tip pretty easily, and honestly, I don't like that. I got you covered. I will show you a little trick on how to make this cuticle area absolutely seamless even when the soft gel tips grow longer, and we'll use products from this brand I recently tried from Australia, Ezmio Beauty.
Hello guys, Anastasia here, international nail expert and educator. This is the hand of my client who's also my bestie. Her name is Nina. So whenever we are doing nails together, it's taking forever because obviously we are communicating a lot and laughing quite a lot too. So usually I don't book anyone else on the same day because I just know that it's going to take some time. First, I file off the free edge with 180 grit side of the essential file and proceed with the dry manicure. She had a little break from nail extensions and said that she missed them a lot, so she's definitely ready to get back to doing long extensions again. She has rather sensitive skin and her cuticles are also thin and a bit stretchy. That's why I'm working super gentle, so after pushing them back, I'm using diamond flame-shaped bead with red abrasive mark and the speed is 14,000 rotations per minute. So whenever I'm working with more sensitive skin, I usually use the lower speed. She also has deep side grooves just like me, which means there's usually some extra skin hiding and it's very important to prep this part thoroughly. Sometimes it's not that obvious, but you may not notice this area and simply apply the product or apply the tip and it's not going to adhere very well. So take your time with the prep because this part is super important, and then we proceed with removing the surface shine. And I'm going to use 180 grit essential file again. If you are dealing with thin nails, then it is better to use 240 grit file. But if you have normal nails, they are not damaged, they are not super thin, then 180 grit file will be fine too. Make sure that you remove the surface shine not only from the center and cuticle area, but along the sidewalls too. This is another common mistake that many beginner nail technicians are missing. They simply neglect these areas while they're so important. This Ezmio essential file is so convenient to use. By the way, recently I did a huge unpacking of 2 boxes of their products. If you would like to check out the video, I will leave the link in the upper right corner. Once the natural nails are matte instead of oily, I'm going to trim the cuticles with manicure scissors carefully. I'm not going too deep. And then it's time for tip fitting, and we will be doing medium almond tips. Choosing the right size of the soft gel tip is the first step on long-lasting soft gel extensions. So we have 240 pieces here, 12 sizes, so most likely we are going to find the proper sizes for each nail. So if you fit the tip and you see that a little part of the sidewall is naked, like the tip is not covering this part, then you definitely need to go for a bigger size. If the size is covering the skin too much along the sidewalls, that means you need to go one size smaller. So always choose the one that perfectly fits, but if for some reason you're unable to find one, it is better if you take a bigger one and then slightly file it, because if you take the smaller size, then no way it's going to properly fit and it's not going to last long. I'm fitting them the exact same way I'm going to apply them, with a little margin from the cuticle, because this little trick is going to help me to make them last longer. Then we apply dehydrator and let dry, and next up is base coat. So Ezmio have this 2-in-1 base coat, which we are also going to use to apply soft gel tips. Thin coat, cure in LED for 60 seconds, make sure you're not touching the skin, and then with the same product I'm going to apply tips on her nails. We also have this little cute flash cure lamp, and Nina is going to assist me with her other hand to flash cure the tips, so this is how we'll know they're not going anywhere. This process is so quick, literally 5 minutes, and we applied all the tips. So it's enough to flash cure them for 5 to 10 seconds first and then fully cure in a big lamp for 1 minute. Now we have all the tips attached, and this is the gap that we have now from the side view. So let's get rid of it now, so later you will not see it. So there are different ways to deal with this little border from the soft gel tips, and this is my favorite way to get rid of it. And this is also a little trick that will help you to make this extension seamless even after 2 or 3 weeks. But first, let's get rid of this plastic residue on the free edge with 180 grit file to make sure that we have pretty smooth almond shaped nails. And then I'm going to use this ceramic bead and file off this area from the tip. Soft gel tips are very soft, so this process is usually super simple. Just make sure that you're filing only the tip and you're not touching the natural nail, because it's super easy to overfile it with this bead. Don't forget that this border appears not only on the top near the cuticle, but also along the sidewall. So we need to do all of this area. This is pretty easy as long as you find the proper abrasive and drill bit to do this, because basically we're just filing off this little border, especially along the sidewalls, because when you don't, actually the shape of soft gel tips is giving this additional volume along the sidewalls. There's a different way to apply soft gel tips, but if you apply them all the way to the cuticle, then you will not be able to comfortably file off this area, and there is going to be a visible border after a couple weeks. I hope you did a good job when applying soft gel tips and there are no bubbles inside, but if there is a little bubble by accident and it's like close to the cuticle or along the sidewall, this is also a good time to fix it. Yes, you can take the same ceramic bead and simply file it off, because later we are going to use builder gel, so we will have a chance to fix this mistake and to fill in this area. Once you don't see this border, you don't see this line anymore, and it looks like there is no border at all, like there's the nail and there's the tip. That means you're done. Sometimes I get this question, is it possible to use the same technique but to use a hand file instead of electric nail file? And the answer is yes, you can take the file and do exactly the same, but it's actually much harder, because with a file it's so hard to hit only this area where the tip will be, and probably you are going to file a little bit of the natural nail too. So please be careful if you will be using a manual method. Now this is optional, you don't need to actually buff them, you can apply the color right away, but I guess it's just me. I love this look of the buffed nails, and I just like to apply the color when we have a buffed surface. That's why I do it quickly. It's also super easy and fast with this 180 grit buffer. Also, this is give me a sense of peace, because what if I accidentally missed a little spot, let's say along the sidewall? I will definitely notice it when I do this buffing, and I can go back and fix it. After filing and buffing, we are not getting back to files and dust anymore, so this is the best time to wash the hands. And since we had a lot of coffee and tea by this time, it's also good time to use the bathroom. And now let's use this light nude builder gel. I like this consistency of Ezmio builder gels. It's so thick, so it makes it super easy to build the structure. And also we will add the product near the cuticle, so it will be seamless, and it will also be very helpful for the soft gel extensions to last longer. So the first coat, the wet floor, is never cured. You apply a thin coat, you do not cure, and then I'm taking this detailer brush and add a little bit more near the cuticle, because this is where the product is missing, and I simply blend it towards the rest of the product. The product underneath is not cured yet, so it's super easy to blend it. There are different ways to use builder gel. You can use it like this on top of soft gel tips. You can also use it as an overlay on top of natural nails. Right now, we decided not to build the structure too much because we just want this light nude semi-transparent background, but we also need to fill in this area near the cuticle. That's why I will be adding a little more near the cuticle and then blending it. I really like this idea of thick consistency builder gels in the bottle when they also have a color, because if we would use a clear one, which we could, then we will have a clear background and we would need to apply more color, and that gives just more volume and more time to this service. While here we do 2-in-1, we add the color and we rebuild the missing structure near the cuticle. Now that we added builder gel on the nail, there will be no visible border of the soft gel tips after 1 week, after 2 weeks. Basically, they are going to look exactly like sculptured nails, and yes, you can definitely do fill later. Let me show you what it looks like after 3 weeks. Do you see? No visible border. By the way, these were Nina's hands too. Unfortunately, I will not be able to do fill on this set since she's going to Sweden and then she will be away for a couple months. But when she gets back, we are definitely doing more nails together. Time to do some nail art. So we will use blooming gel and this beautiful dark red color and a dotting tool. So first we need to apply a thin layer of blooming gel, do not cure it, and with the dotting tool I'm simply going to add these little dots on one side of her nail, and that's it. Just wait a little bit and blooming gel will do all the magic for you, and once you're satisfied with the pattern, you can freeze cure it or fully cure it. On this nail we are going to do rows. So technically I'm following the regular scheme on how I'm doing petals of the rose, but since they are moving and expanding a little bit because of the blooming gel underneath, I'm leaving more margins in between the petals, so there will be some space for this fade to appear. Oh my god, this is actually my first time doing rose with blooming gel and it looks so nice, right? At first I was going to do the rose on the entire nail, but now I kind of like it like that halfway, so it will be like faded into this nude color and there will be nothing on the top. So I think that's enough, then we cure it. And on another nail, let's also do some dots. I just like these patterns with blooming gel. Basically whatever you do, then it's going to fade and it just looks pretty. On the thumb we have a bigger canvas, so let's add more dots, and you can also use a detailer brush, because if your dotting tool has a certain size and you may want to create a bigger dots, then using brush is an option too. Just make sure you're not using too much color because it may flood the sidewalls and interfere with the nail shape. Then we fully cure it for 60 seconds in LED and seal it with a glossy top coat. I think this is the perfect nail art for this summer and for her upcoming trip. You can find all the links to the products that we used in the description box. Let me know what you think about this nail art. Would you try to recreate it? If you do, please do not forget to tag me. I would love to see your designs. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.